Well, Gaffer, it isn't a long time since the last game. Have you been able to do much since then?
No, it was a long journey back, roadworks everywhere. Got back late, got the boys in Thursday, just to freshen them up in terms of recovery, and then obviously the ones that were involved Wednesday had a session, small light session. Today's just been very light, and obviously went through the things we need to do for tomorrow. So yeah, listen, when you go Wednesday and you travel and you get back so late, there's not much really you can do between games, and that's it really.
Yeah, I suppose it's horrible as a manager when you've got a long journey back after a game like Wednesday, because you've probably been thinking about it and probably got very little sleep yourself.
Yeah, you don't get much sleep, but it makes it worse. And listen, I'm not saying it just because we lost the game. I felt for the fans as well. 200 odd travelled up. It's a long journey for them as well, and so it was a difficult night for everyone, as it were. And it doesn't help when you've got the journey back. But I suppose for me, I had time to think, and it's not a bad thing to digest the game and think about obviously quickly what I'm going to do for Saturday. So I suppose in that sense, it does give you a bit of time to think.
Yeah, it's so difficult when it comes to a team selection, just looking from the outside in, because at home it's so good and you have to bear that in mind when you're picking a team. But equally, you're looking at the last game and games before that, when in terms of selection, it must be difficult to sort of compartmentalise what you're going to do.
Yeah, it's difficult when you go through a run like this. It's difficult when you do interviews and you don't want to be saying the same thing all the time. The one thing I'd say is, whatever team I pick, it's got to be a team that identifies as a Peterborough team, as one of my teams, and the team that plays has to be a sort of an indictment of the manager, I feel, and one that plays attacking football, one that wants to press, and we haven't seen that. And at home we have. At times we've been a lot better at home than away. So whatever it is we do, that's the one thing I want to look for, and that's the one thing that we need. Because look, at the moment we're getting hammered by everyone. The knives are out. There's no doubt about that. And in many people's minds, we're down. So there's a challenge for me, and I say that to the players. Everyone's got us down. Everyone's written us off. We're 19 games into the season. Nowhere near good enough. I'll make that clear. Nowhere near good enough. And how many points we've had. We're fully aware of that. No one's sat here thinking, it's fine because it's a championship. It's not fine. We know it's not acceptable. But what I would like to be, I think everyone would I would like to consider that we should be judged at the end of a season. But there's no doubt there's people criticising us. We've got to make sure that we not ignore it, but be mindful that we stay strong. I've always maintained that. And, I've signed a new contract. That doesn't mean I'm immune to losing my job. That's not anyone that knows the chairman. He won't accept that, and it's not as if I'm sat here thinking I've signed a new contract. Well, I'm not, but listen, I didn't have to sign it, and I could have got a promotion and thought, well, that's me done for, that's enough. But no, my challenge is to get in the championship. And I'm going to fight like hell to stay in it. And I need the players to go with me. And whatever it takes, whether it's the last kick of the ball in the last game of the season, I'm up for it. And I think it's important that we're judged when the season ends, not now, because nothing's decided after 20 games. The only thing that's up to now is it's not been good enough. And we're fully responsible for that. I'm mainly responsible because I'm the manager. But I'm certainly up for this fight, and it's a challenge that I want to meet head on, and so do the players. It's not as if we're seeing a bunch of players that have chucked it, that are not trying. We've simply not been good enough, but we have to make sure that tomorrow we get a good performance, and mainly we get a win.
Yeah, and looking at that game against Barnsley, obviously in and around us in the league table, what do you make of them? They've obviously changed their manager, brought someone else in, and obviously difficult start for them against Swansea the week. Yeah,
they've changed their manager, and obviously his first game in charge, he was in the stands for Fulham. Whether he was in charge or not, I don't know, but he was obviously in charge on Wednesday. We had the game covered, watched it. So, when a new manager comes in, 3 games in a week doesn't give him much time to do his work, but I'm sure he's getting his ideas over. And a team that are struggling similar to ourselves, so I think both teams will probably be saying the same thing. Can we get the first goal? I think it's going to be important. So whatever, look, it's about us tomorrow and how we play with energy and all the rest of it, and a bit more quality, because the quality's been missing in terms of 1 goal in 5 games. I don't think I've had that before.
Oliver Norman, you mentioned after the game, was feeling a little bit sick before the game. Has he recovered okay?
To a degree, he missed yesterday. He was ill. He's certainly picked up a bug, so he was in today, but it's knocked him a little bit because I spoke to Norbs today, and perhaps it was so late when he was sick that he could have missed the game because it did sap his energy. So yeah, we'll have to look at that for tomorrow.
Yeah, of course he's one that's probably played the majority of the games this season, isn't he? Coming in the summer, coming in the transfer window, what have you. He puts a lot of energy into his performances. So when you have something like a bug, it's clearly going to affect him.
Yeah, listen, he's played I think every game that he's come in, and he's done very well, and But I've got others. I mean, you've got Connor Coventry that came on the other night. He's not had much football for the reasons I keep giving Connor. I feel Norbs has done well, and Jack's coming up to a game speed. So. But we've got a squad for a reason, and like I said earlier, whatever team I pick, we're all in this together, and we've just got to meet this challenge head on, and obviously we need a win tomorrow.
Joe Randall obviously played, I think he's played 90 more or less in terms of the 223 games. Does he need a couple more, or is he...
No, he'll be involved. He'll be in the squad tomorrow. I don't think he's 100%, I've got to be honest, because you've got to remember that he picked up a bad injury before he signed for us and missed a large chunk of pre-season, so he's missed a fair bit. Obviously, he came in with us and started the season, but then got injured, so it's not just the injury he's had with us. The previous one, he wasn't fully fit up to speed really when he joined, so I've got to be mindful of that. But yeah, 45-60, he's not 100%, but certainly, he'll be involved tomorrow.
Yeah, and the two young strikers you brought in, obviously one's played 90 minutes and was cut time in the second one. Joe Taylor came off the bench in the game against Sheffield United. They seem to be up to speed in terms of what you want from them. I guess it's just fitness with them.
Not with Kai. No, Kai's fine, fitness-wise. Joe certainly, yeah, and I was really impressed by his performance on Tuesday. He came on. He played exactly how I want us to play. Energy, ran in behind, powerful, strong. Not fit enough, but I was watching him thinking, is he going to blow up? But he didn't. He kept going. Good finisher. Really impressed by him. I'm really, really pleased with how he started his career there. Kai, good player. The boy's got good movement. He's a finisher. He gets his shots off early. And at the moment, I haven't got many out-and-out strikers. So, yeah, listen, he's a player that we've brought in with real potential, but he's ready. There's no doubt.
And Jack Marriott has been doing some scouting for
you. He has.
He's obviously chomping at the bit.
Well, Jack was jogging today on the treadmill, so it's great news. I mean, he's had the all clear from the surgeon to say that he can start jogging 60%. So just to see him jogging, in fact, I just said, is that your brother that was jogging? But it was actually Jack, so we had a laugh. Yeah, I sent him to watch Barnsley at Fulham last week. He really enjoyed it, and I'll keep sending him at different games because I've got to keep him busy. I'd rather he was playing, but if he's not going to be playing, it would generally be when we're away from home because I want him at home with the lads. I want him in the dressing room. I think it's important that he's there.
Yeah, speaking to him as well, you actually enjoyed it. And it's quite interesting, isn't it? Because you can have analysts analyse it, but if you play the game, you probably see things that other people don't see.
Yeah, he did, and I spoke to him about it, and we've got a template for how we scout. And I just said, look, just how we do it is keep looking at different consecutive patterns about how they play off the ball, on the ball, and he did a report. It was good. It was, it's probably something he's not done before, but I think when someone's had injuries like he's had in the last couple of years, and he gets another one, I think for me it's mentally where you can struggle, and I need to keep him occupied. I need to keep him busy. I know he's jogging on the treadmill and he comes in and it's great, but he'll have down days. I've spoke to him about that, so it's important that I keep on top of that and keep him involved. Like I say, at home he's valuable to the dressing room because he's got a bit of that experience. And then when we're away, I'll send him to games.
And aside from him, how's everyone else looking?
Everyone's fine. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. Yeah, everyone's fine. No problems with anyone.